And we're going? All right, rock out. Hi, Jason Nelson again. I've just filmed the last one, sort of look different to trick you into thinking it's a different day. I've changed my hair. Looks good, doesn't it? Do you like that? The little up collar thing and all this sort of stuff. There we go. Put down my collar. Anyway, hi, this is number 2 in my Net Poetic digital poetry series I'm doing. The first one was on the Redimensional Cube, a very crappily named but incredibly cool digital poetry interface. This is the second one. I'm thinking the second one is going to be called Layering Follow. Again, another terrible, terrible title. I will rename it, as Bevan is so indicating. But again, the series basically these are a series of different digital poetry interfaces that should act as a bridge between the print world and the digital world to allow you to get in and play around and create your own digital poems so you all start loving digital poetry, so I can have a freaking retirement plan by you inviting me to a university and college and getting me drunk and taking me out to places and doing that stuff, damn it. Not going to say what he just said in my ear to you because I am a person who would get sued. All right. Gotcha. So this is the number 2. Let me just show it to you real quick so you can switch to the cool view. Here it is. Now basically this is called layering following, or layered following, layered follow, layering follow. The idea of this one is totally generated by your mouse. So you would have a normal poem. It would be maybe a 10-line poem or 20-line poem, however many freaking lines you want to have. And then as the user takes their mouse, presses the mouse button down, the poem comes then across the screen. Now, it's both readable and unreadable in the sense that I can read all the lines on the poem here. But as I put more things on the screen, it layers more lines over that, and so forth. You can see about this time here, I'm getting to the point where I want to put a black square behind it to sort of cover up some of the other sections. Otherwise, it becomes completely unreadable. And there's some more poetic lines. And more, still more. And more. And you could actually go on infinitely with this. The stanza 2. Take you through stanza 2 real quick. Stanza 2 I designed basically to showcase the fact that images can be poetic content, I feel. I feel poetic content, texts are more than just language. Language is just one way of relaying the idea of text. Text obviously can be anything. Language is, well, linguistics people can tell you a range of things about that. I really can't. I just say I like using images. Series of images that come up. And so on and so forth. And it creates a really beautiful sort of collage. Watch out for the Freemasons, etc. Okay, shift back to me, sir. Thank you, there I am. Holy crap. Gum. Delicious gum. Oh, I was going to do a theme song. Theme song. You ready? Okay. Net poetic, net poetic. Everyone loves the Net Poetic. I'm not going to do a falsetto for Net Poetic each time, but these 2 times I am. And this time I have water. Not tea, but water. And you can see all the way through it. Look at that. Cylon. All right, let's get into it. So we've got our digital poem we've created, or this interface I've made. So how do you then modify it, and what do you consider? Well, the first thing to consider is how do you want the words layered on top of each other? How do you want the user to experience it? Because it's a very linear experience. Unlike the poetic cube, which you twist and turn and make your own poem, this is a linear experience the user is just going to be exploring. In a way, they're creating their own collages, but they're also sort of going through it in a very linear sort of way. So you might be asking me, Jason, where do these things live? Well, this is where it lives, here, in each of these sections. So shift back to the other view, please, sir. Here we are in Flash. If you know Flash, which you will need to for this poem, you have each of these keyframes then becomes the individual poetic content. So again, it can go on. I can put, this many, 605 different keyframes in there if I wanted to. Keep in mind eventually It will destroy the user's computer if you put too many in there. So let's just do another sample like I've done before, where I'm going to use this and say, mess this up. Right, so I've drawn on that, and you can see, we go into it. There's one line, there's another line. There's the change. All right, now there are other elements to this as well. Those of you who are somewhat adept should go into the actions. And inside of the actions, there are additional elements you can change. I'm not going to go through this in detail. Just my recommendation, and you can switch back to me, sir. My recommendation for the actions are basically to just play around with the freaking numbers. One little hint. You get this thing, you don't know what the heck you're doing, right? Save it, and then save it as something else. You have two files, the one that works and the ones you F up. Can I say F up? Bevan, can I say that? F is just a letter. Doesn't mean anything, could mean frog off. You should frog off. So you can adjust the action scripts here if you'd like to play around with this. Now, what are the considerations for a poet? Again, it's just a different way of thinking about your poetic content, but you should really try to play around with things like animated sections. So could you go in and instead of just having a straight line, could you have that line that the person's painting out? So when the person does this and has this bit here, and they're painting this line out, maybe you would have that line that's there, these lines here, maybe you'd have those change and morph, become something else. They could get larger, smaller. I mean, you know, there's any number of things you can do. But again, any sort of content can be put in to these individual sections. Even sounds. If you want to play around with a vocal poem, you could do that as well. So again, these are templates. They're base for you to explore, again, digital poetry. Donate. That's me being a cougar. I like being cougars. Gotcha. That has been the layering follow. Again, probably called something else, so don't hold me to that. Thank you very much, and come back for another one from Net Poetic. We'll be exploring more digital interfaces just for you. Sweet. So sweet. And that's it.